Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Victor here, 40's Fade, and I'm bringing you guys a burst fade tutorial. I think it's pretty fire, it's in depth, and I think it'll just be very beneficial for you guys. I'm doing two methods. First one is pretty beginner, and second one is a little more intermediate. Right now, what we're doing is we're kind of just like scoping out our canvas, identifying the hook. I base a lot of my guidelines in reference to the hooks. So the first step is to debulk and create the parameter with the two guard lever open. I think the length of the two open is perfect for us to be able to see our guidelines as we set them in. So now I'm really flicking, and I'm flicking before I even get to the parietal ridge because first of all, I don't want to take this burst fade too high. And second of all, at the end of it, if we really need to cut some more, we can always cut some more. So now I'm setting the initial bald line with our trimmers, and I'm using nothing but my corners to do this because I believe that using the corners helps you control the shape a little better, which is key to creating burst fades. I see a lot of people do squares and triangles, and me personally, I just like keeping everything as round as possible. And one way that I achieve that when it comes to bursts, tapers, or fades is just by using corners. When it comes to fades, I guess you don't really use your corners as much, but when it comes to tapers and burst fades, yeah, for sure corners. And I tend to take my time a little more with this initial guideline because all the other guidelines that we're gonna be setting is based off of this initial guideline. Like, this is our foundation. So take your time, make sure it's nice and smooth. Next, we're jumping in with our shaver. And I know this isn't really something that you need to speak on too often, but some people don't really understand that it's not a skin fade, it's not a skin taper, and it doesn't have the skin effect unless you actually hit it with the shaver. If you're not hitting it with the shaver, why aren't you hitting it with the shaver? Are you doing it to save time? You should be saving your client some time. You should be saving your client some dollars by making sure that his haircut lasts as long as possible. And plus, also just hitting it with a shaver, it gives the whole haircut a different effect. You know, it really makes the blend pop even more. So do yourself a favor, do your client a favor, and use your shaver. So now we're going in with our half guard, the 0.5, and the lever is closed, and we're going about a finger's width right above the initial guideline. We're going parallel to the guideline, a finger's width with the 0.5 lever closed. This is one thing that I cannot exaggerate anymore. It's important to know the measurements of your guards. It's important to know the measurements of your clippers. 9 out of 10 times, your clipper with the no guard and the lever open, it's a 0.5. So if you slap a guard on the clipper with the lever open, it's the guard's number plus 0.5. Do the math, all right? So now we're going in with our one guard, the lever is open, and we're gonna set another guideline parallel to the one that we just set in. Same width, fingers width, one guard, the lever is open. And we're really using our corners to maintain that shape, you know. And this is a perfect example to what I was just saying. The one guard with the lever open, it's a 1.5, just a shorter 1.5. Alright, so now we have the 1.5 and the lever is closed. And we're gonna attack the line that we set with the one open. At this point, we're not setting any more guidelines. With our half clips, we do blending. So the 1.5 is on the clipper, and we're just gonna tie the one open into the bolt. We're just gonna attack the line. I only do 2 sweeps, and then I open up the lever immediately. I do another 2 sweeps, and then from there I just detail open and closed. For me personally, in this method, the 1.5 only has 2 lever positions. That's closed, and then it's open. I don't go halfway. I don't, just keep it simple. Just flick and finesse. You can see my wrist. I'm just like floating, I'm just floating and I'm just flicking. I'm using nothing but my corners right here, really trying to maintain that shape. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna clip over comb, basically removing any excess weight. And when you're doing this, you're not debulking anymore. At this point, you're just trying to tie your fade into the top of the hair, and you do that by flaring the comb. First of all, flaring the comb off of the scalp. You're never laying your comb flat to the head unless it's a super tight blend. And we're only cutting the tips of the hairs. We're not cutting chunks of it. And we're just taking our time. We're just polishing the canvas and really just trying to maintain the integrity of the burst. So now we're back with the half clip and the lever is halfway open. We set one of our initial guidelines to the blend with the half clip lever closed. So in order to blend it out, I'm really focusing on my corners here, and the lever is halfway open. Same thing with the 1.5. I'm just going to do 2 sweeps, and then I'm going to immediately open up my lever. And unlike the 1.5, my 0.5 guard only has 3 lever positions. It goes closed, which is what we set our guideline in with, halfway open, which is what we're doing right now, and then all the way open, which is now. And we're really just floating. We're just flicking. Our wrist is super light. Our clipper is super light on the head, and we're just kind of like freehanding in a way, using nothing but the corners to really maintain the integrity of the burst fade. And we're just detailing. We're just looking for dark spots. We're just going at it. We're not over detailing. We're not going too crazy with it because we still need to blend out the bald line, you know. So I usually just try to stick to 2 sweeps. That's a good rule of thumb. If I do like a 3rd or 4th sweep, it's gonna be real quick. Now it's time to finesse the blend. And finessing the blend means lever play. Now when it comes to the lever, I look at my clipper and I visualize 5 notches. If you look at any Babyless clipper or Stylecraft or Gamma clipper, they have notches, and there's 5 lever positions within those notches. I would say TPOB too, but the majority of the TPOPs, the TPOBs, only have 4 notches, which I find kind of interesting. But anyways, yeah, there's 5 lever positions, which is closed, halfway, then all the way open. And in between those 3 lever positions, you have another 2, which is the in-between lever position. Yeah, just lever playing, bro, finessing. I really like exaggerating the corners because, like I said, for one, integrity of the shape. Integrity of the shape, integrity of the drop fade, integrity of the burst taper, and integrity of the burst fade. I also think that it just lets the blade cut in between grains of hair a little better too, just giving it a little more of that grittiness, a little more blur, just giving it a little more blur effect, you know, and you can really control how close you can get to the hooks. I love natural blends because I think one of my strong points is really making that hook pop naturally, and I can't do that without my corners. Now, step 10 is creating the hook, creating the C cup, and one of my favorite parts of the haircut. Watch how I work the corners. Pay attention to how I work the corners. I always find a starting point, whether it's at the top of the hook or at the bottom of the hook, and I just kind of like work my way over to the other side. I'm just gonna sit back, watch this because it's super satisfying. I'm really sorry that the video is not anymore focused. I wish it was. I'm only getting better with the camera. I'm figuring out the settings and whatnot, but I promise you the next few tutorials are going to be fire. They're going to be spot on. But yeah, the hooks. Now, straight raising, in my opinion, is one of the most important steps when it comes to cutting hair. The outline, the lineup makes your haircut really stand out, man. It just really makes it pop. It outlines all of your work. And straight razor just comes through and it really just gets that skin effect on your entire outline, which really makes everything pop. The sharpness of the lineup and just your whole haircut. So take your time, make sure that you're stretching the skin in the opposite direction of what you're cutting, and have a light hand, be smooth with the blade. These blades are super sharp, so just let the blade do all the cutting. To wrap it up on this side, we're just coming through with the thinning shear over comb, and we're just kind of softening up any harsh lines that we might have left behind, and just creating a smoother transition between the fade and the top of the hair. And to finish off the first side of the burst fade, we're going to go ahead and we're going to line up the back. So we're going with kind of like a straight back to like round corners. We usually do the V, but we ended up switching it up a little bit this time. Just try something new, you know. I feel like it's important to try something new. You never know what you like until you try it. And I was really liking it. I think it really like suited his head shape. It really went well with the cut, with the style. And once again, we're going back with our straight razor, and we're just kind of straight raising the little edges, to help the longevity of the haircut, help the haircut last a little longer, and stay sharper like an extra day or two, goes a long ways. I probably won't be talking as much over here because the steps are almost identical. The only difference is that I don't use the one clip. So we're setting our initial guideline with the trimmer, and we're making sure that we use our corners to really make sure that we get that shape that we're looking for, and also being considerate when it comes to the hook. We're making sure that we leave enough hair for us to actually be able to blend into a dark hook. .5 guard with the lever closed, and we're just gonna set the guideline about a finger's width parallel to the initial guideline, the bald line. Now we have the 1.5 and the levers closed, and we're just gonna set a finger's width guideline parallel to the one that we just set. So basically we have two guidelines the same width, one above the other. So now we have the 1.5 and the levers open, and we're really just flicking, making sure that we cut into the bulk. That way when we clip over comb it, it'll be like a little smoother. And now right here with clip over combing, this is just an example of how I flare my comb. I never lay it flat onto the scalp. I always end up doing some kind of flare. And I'm not cutting bulk anymore. I'm just kind of hacking away at the tips of the hair, just ensuring that there's like some kind of smooth transition from our burst fade to the top of the hair. And I get that a lot of people are intimidated when it comes to the clip over comb technique, especially beginning barbers. Don't get me wrong, I was intimidated by it at first too, but just play with it. Just use it as much as you can. Try to incorporate it in as many haircuts as you can, because the more you play with it, the more comfortable you get with it. Yeah, pause. The more you use this technique, the sooner you understand how it actually works. At the end of the day, you can't cut anything that you don't comb, and just because you comb a whole section of a hair doesn't mean you have to cut the entire section. Hack away at it slowly, little bits at a time. Play with it. The more you play with it, the sooner you'll get comfortable with it. That's literally how it goes with anything. Repetition. Get your reps in. Get your reps in. Get your reps in. Alright, so now we got the half clip and the lever is halfway open. Now we're just gonna go ahead and start to blend into the 1.5. We're gonna attack that guideline. I think we split the burst into two. So I do like 2 sweeps, and then I open up the lever, do another 1-2 sweeps with the lever open, and then it's real quick. It should be real quick. Then I'm going back to halfway with the lever position, and then I'm attacking the back side of the burst. And now I'm sure some of you guys are looking at the bulk and looking at like the darkness of the blend. I know I am. So I'm just gonna go ahead and point this out. It's not perfect. It's not. But that's the thing. It doesn't need to be perfect as of right now. What we want to do is we want to get through our steps. We want to make sure that the burst fade is there. We want to make sure that our blend is there. And then we do the outline, and then we come back and we detail at the end. We're always going to come back and we're always going to detail. But the whole thing is get through the haircut first. You don't want to spend too much time with detailing. You don't want to over detail. Before you know it, you still have like a whole 3/4 of the haircut to go, and you've already spent like 20-30 minutes on just like one panel of like the head, Get through the blend first, and then come back and detail. Now right here we have no lever, and we're starting with the 5 notches. We're starting closed, and now we have 5 notches. Slowly working our way up. I think we're attacking it like, I think we hit it once. Yeah, so we hit it once, and then we go up a notch. Straight corners. Hit it once, another notch. You know what I'm saying? Really take your time. Make sure you're going for the dark spots, and yeah, it's all visual right here at this point. Now the final notch, at this point, you're just kind of like straight corners, and you're just floating. The wrist is really light on the head. You're just moving. Visualize. See what needs to be hit, see what doesn't. Look for the dark spots. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. So now we ran through the whole blend, and we're just gonna take our time. We're just gonna detail. We're gonna detail by any means. The flick of the wrist, and honestly, oftentimes with the half clip, bro, like my clipper isn't even on the head. I'm just kind of freehanding a lot with my half clip. I love to freehand a lot with my half clip. I love to freehand with even no guard and the lever open. This is really what I like to call like personalization, you know? Only you can detail the haircut the way you know how to. No one else is gonna detail the way you know how to detail. Personalize it. Make sure the haircut actually comes out to how you want it to look. Don't be afraid of freehand. Just send it. Just send it, honestly. You'll be alright. I haven't sped this part up and I won't speed it up. I'm just gonna let the rest of this clip play out. That way you guys can just kind of like see the way I play with the lever a little bit. And just the flick of the wrist, honestly, the motion, the lightness of it, and just the corner work. Take note, you don't have to cut like me, but just more or less get a better idea of how to detail a little better, you know? That's my favorite part of the cut. If the hook is ever too bulky, always knock it down. You know, you always want to make sure that the outline lasts as long as possible. You can always clip over comb a little bit while still maintaining that darkness. So now you're gonna lose the darkness. If you keep it super bulky, the outline is gonna look sharp, but it's only gonna last them like 3 or 4 days before that shit actually starts to like puff up and flare out and whatnot, you know. So keep it nice, keep it tight, keep it dark. And so now I'm just gonna sit back and I'm gonna watch this hook come together. Pay attention to how I'm moving my corners. I think it's really satisfying seeing the hook actually come to life. And now razor. Always razor. I got a pretty dope straight blade from Della Bay, and we're just gonna clean up the hook. Always stretch the skin in the opposite direction of what you're cutting. And after I'm done straight razoring the hook, I always turn around and I clean up the whole eyebrow area right there. Because yes, we're only doing the haircut, but if the client has like bushy brows, you know, sometimes people go months in between haircuts, and that gives the eyebrow a lot of time to grow little baby hairs and whatnot, little peach fuzz on the cheek. Make sure you always cut that down. It always goes long ways, and it makes the haircut look a lot cleaner. It makes the client look a lot better, and it makes the client feel good, you know. And yes, I am point cutting, texturing, and creating the fringe all while the hair is dry. My boy doesn't want to lose any of that length. And when it comes to retaining the length and texturing, I like to do it dry just so that you can see the texture that you're putting in the hair as you're going through it. It's kind of harder to explain, but I do a lot of freehand point cutting, and I think it's super fire when it comes to texture. Be careful, obviously, like you're freehanding with shears. A lot of things can go south really fast. But if you can do it and you feel comfortable doing it, send it. You're gonna love the results. It's so fire. It's so fire. I love it. I do it anytime I get the chance. I'll throw texture in the hair when it's wet. But if they don't want length off and they don't have hat hair or bed head or whatever, I'll just do it dry. You can really see the texture pop as you're doing it, you know? One of the biggest things to me is ensuring that the client stays clean throughout and even after the haircut. You want to try and get as much excess hair that you have cut off of the head. That way, whenever you throw that style powder in there or whatever, and the client starts to run his hands through the hair, there's not a bunch of random hair just falling out into their face. Especially when they get into the car and they're running their hands through it, it's just gonna get all over the seats. It gets into the shirt, it gets itchy, gets messy. And now we're getting towards the end of this tutorial, and I just want to give a special thank you to each and every single one of you that gave me 22 minutes of your life. These tutorials are for you guys. If you thought this was good, I promise you they're only going to keep getting better. This is first of many. I'm going to be dropping 2 videos a month, every other month, and these tutorials are going to be coming out. Let me know what you guys want to see. Let me know what you guys think of this one. These are for you. This is so that you get a better understanding on how to blend. And yeah, I really hope you guys learned a thing or two. It's free game, free knowledge. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't, that's okay too. A little bit of feedback goes a long ways. So if you guys really want to let me know what you guys think, bro, please do. I really hope you guys enjoyed. This is the final product. This is a mid-burst fade by yours truly, Victor 40s Fade. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Deuces, I'll see you guys around. Book, like, comment, subscribe, share, you know what I'm saying? Do all that good stuff. Deuces.